Hey guys, what's going on? It's Chamber here. Now in today's video, this is going to be an OBS guide. This is made for someone who has a dual PC setup, so not someone who maybe is using an Elgato to create dual PCs or is on has a console mainly and they stream and they have a PC for streaming. This is for someone who is playing games and streaming / recording on the same PC. This is so that you can get your highest FPS in game, but also the highest quality in your stream. I don't know why. So we're going to start off with a very simple little tip. So you can right click in properties. Now you're going to hit compatibility and just run this program as administrator. Now you can do this for your OBS, no matter if you're streaming on it, recording it, or doing a replay. So I did it for all. Now I'm going to talk about why I have 3 different OBS right here. So OBS Studio is like your base OBS. This is really good if you're just going to be recording your gameplay or maybe doing a little bit of like replays. Stream Elements, that's what I use when I stream. It's actually what I have on my recording PC right here. It's amazing. I love it. It's really good because you can kind of keep scenes backed up on their website, and then you can save it as almost like a browser source, kind of the same way that you can add an alert. Streamlabs, this is what I recommend to people who are just starting out streaming, want to get their alerts, want their stream to look nice. They have good packages. They're actually free instead of paid if you have to go to their website and get it on Stream Elements. That's something that I think is a really good deal. But for this video, we're going to do the base OBS Studio. You can follow along on both the OBS Stream Elements and Streamlabs. It will be the same thing. Streamlabs will just have a slightly different UI. Stream Elements is the same thing, just with a plugin built in. So let's open up OBS Studio. Now, as you see, I have a couple of things on here. So we're going to start off with this. Properties. Now, make sure that it will typically be set to default. Just hit pod mic and make sure that use device timestamps is unchecked. This will cause a delay in your stream and make your viewers kind of be confused and hate it. Now, you got to do this. Hit your headset. Now, make sure this is unchecked for your desktop audio. This is very important because if not, you will have sometimes like 1 to 3 second delay. It's a delay that is noticeable. I didn't notice this till a couple of months after I really started streaming, and I was like, my friend was like, hey, your system's kind of like laggy and stuff. And I was like, that's weird because I don't hear the audio lagging myself. So what I did was I kind of just messed around one stream, and I was like, there it is. There's the answer. So we're going to fix that right there. Now, there's filters in OBS. Now, you see every audio filters. There's a couple that I do recommend. I recommend a compressor. Just hit that, and that's all you really should do. And then you can do your noise gate. This is really good because it'll make sure that all your background, maybe if you have some MX Blues, they won't go as much. Forgot to mention, what a compressor does is that makes it so that you're really high voices when you're talking really loud and screaming. Oh my gosh, I just hit a Fortnite clip. Whatever. You're not super duper loud. But then when you're talking super quiet, it's not like nobody can hear you and you're doing some garbage ASMR. So, noise gate, already explained that one. A limiter. This is really good if you have a really bad mic. Maybe you're peaking a lot. Maybe you have too much gain on it. This is really good. I highly recommend this for people. And then you have noise suppression. This will just kind of make you slightly quieter while also not being terrible. Now, when you're talking, you want to really be instead of that yellow mark, you want to be more in the green. So I'm going to slightly lower this mic until I get very good audio. So as you see, I'm not hitting it. I actually can go a little quieter than this. And then for me, I'm just going to open my volume. I can playback devices, close that. Now test device. Now as you see, I'm peaking on that. So what I want to do is go to about that, open it up, test. As you see, that's still very loud, so I can do test. And that's a lot better. Now, if I was really going to spend a lot of time on this PC, I don't record on this PC, I would spend a lot more time. So, let's get right into this. Now, most people say, don't do a lot of things. Now, I actually do not check for updates. It's a personal thing for me. Now, you can do a confirmation when starting the stream. That could be really nice. For example, when you just want to make sure that you're not actually going live. Automatically record when streaming. This would be good if you have a bunch of storage and you're like, hey, I just want to keep all my stuff. high quality. Now this one's a big deal. Automatically start replay buffer when streaming. Now I'm not going to get really in depth. I'm going to have another video coming out very soon about that. But what this is this is almost like your GeForce Experience highlights without the GeForce Experience. And you can choose your own quality, choose when it's on. I recommend having this on so you can have the highest quality clips. So hit apply. And I'm just going to make sure. There's nothing really important here, so we're just going to hit stream. Now you can obviously use whatever you want on here. And you can either connect your account or use a stream key like that. I don't do any. I do connect the account on here so I can have my chat built into OBS. And that's amazing. Now, this is going to be on simple at first. I highly recommend hitting advanced. So when you hit advanced. So right now, most people, their CPU is really highly used while gaming. Now, if you're using I really highly recommend if you are going to be streaming to have an NVIDIA graphics card. Recommend like a 10 series or a 2000 series or even a 3000 series when they come out. So just hit H.264 new. Now, in the newer versions, there is not no other version. Hit the new version. This is highly recommended. So we're going to actually not check the rescale output right now. I'll come back to that slightly later. Now, your bitrate. This is highly recommended, highly dependent on what you use. So your internet. So for example, I have about 10 upload. So I can use whatever. I use 6,000. So that's the max that you can use if you're not partnered. So if you're affiliate or just started getting out streaming, max 6,000. Now, that's for like 900p, 1080p streaming. So I'm going to recommend about 4,500 to newer streamers. Now this keyframe interval, hit this to 2. This helps you a lot. Now, these, a lot of people have always wondered. So the highest quality is max quality. So there used to be a setting in here called 2-pass encoding, which means that instead of encoding just once, it encodes it twice to get the highest quality. I would recommend max quality if you have maybe a higher end graphics card within bank like a 2000. Hit quality at most. Performance if you're having issues with FPS. Don't use max performance. And don't touch the low latency. I used to use this and I had more issues. So go with the minimum performance. I'm just going to go with quality still. Profile, just hit high. Now, look ahead. This will change your B frames. So we don't want that when you're playing games such as like Fortnite, Call of Duty. If you're playing a shorter game such as League of Legends, maybe it would be okay. But we're not going to use that. So just keep that unchecked. And now keep this on, which optimizes the bitrate. But at the same time, if you're having issues where your bitrate is kind of going all over the place, you might want to turn that off. Or you might want to change this bitrate so that it doesn't drop. So max B frames, just keep that at 2. Now GPU. GPU 0 is the first GPU in your system. So if you somehow have 2, then you might actually want to set it to 1. I don't have 1. I don't have 2 GPUs in my system. So I'm going to keep it at 0. That's what I would recommend for you guys. So we can just hit apply. And boom. These settings are set for right now. Now when we go to this. These are your recording. I recommend MP4 or MOV. I'm going to set to M. And I always recommend you use your own H.264. Now this is where I really recommend that you use your graphics card. Because for YouTube, you can use 50 to 60,000. I use 50,000 right here. That's what I really enjoy. So keyframe interval 2. Now for me, since I want the max quality, I hit max quality. I recommend the same preset that you use on your streaming. So anyways, I'm just going to hit quality then. And the rest of these settings can stay the same. So I just hit apply. And then recording path. You can do wherever you want. And now audio. These just stay at 160. You can try the higher ones. I haven't tried them. You can obviously do it. Now replay buffer. This is going to be like this. I recommend enabling it. It'll be set at 20 seconds at first. Now I recommend 60. Set it for as long as you want. I don't even know if there's a limit on it. But this is based off your recording settings. So you can choose whatever you want. I recommend 60 though, because that's the same max amount that a Twitch clip has. The same amount that a GeForce Experience, I believe, can go for. Like, actually, no, I think it can go for about 5 minutes. So just do that. And now we're going to go straight into our audio settings. Now, 44.1 and 48. 48 is what I recommend, and it says that it should be restarted. We're not going to restart right now, but you can. Stereo is what I recommend so that your own viewers can be in, like, when you're watching or recording, will feel like the game. So, like, let's say someone's on your right. Then you can hear it in their headphones and not feeling like everything's still very closed off. This makes them feel like they're also in the game with you. You can try 2.1. I don't recommend these. I recommend stereo. Now, these are the same settings, so just make sure that these are set. And then whatever, if you somehow need something else, you're fine, but just disable all of them. Decay rate, this is what I recommend, fast, and sample peak, because you don't want true peak because that could use higher CPU usage. And right now we want to keep our stream as low as possible while also as high. So just hit apply if you haven't already. Now, okay. Now, this is the point where I really recommend that this is when it's really important. So by cubic, I recommend 16. That's fine. If you really want to have the max quality and don't care, maybe you're on like 60 hertz still, just use Lanczos. But by cubic is really what I recommend. Now, for me, since I'm streaming, I recommend and I want to have the highest recording, I still recommend 1920 by 1080. Now, I always would recommend 60, not 29.97 or 59.94. Those are true, but in my opinion, they cause issues with gameplay and stuff. So we're just going to hit that and be okay with it. Now, this is why I actually missed this rescale output. So a lot of people will be like, oh, and they're going to go here. Now, most people will type in 600 by 900, but I have found issues with that and found that it is almost not true 16 by 9, even though it looks like it. So I recommend 1664 by 936. So just hit apply. You don't have to do it on your recording, so you still want to be in 1080p there, and then you're good. Now you can also choose 1536 by 864. I like 1664 by 936. That's what a lot of players use. And so boom, you can also set your streaming, replay buffer. Now, the only one that I really would recommend is save replay. Now, save it, do it for a key you won't hit. For example, I have a full-size keyboard on my streaming PC, so I have it set to my pause/break key. That's really a good key for it to be because I've never used it. Nobody really uses it. But I have a 65% on this key, so I would recommend maybe like I can hit my function key and then hit like F8. I don't use the F8 key, so boom, my replays will now be saved. Now you can also, and this is actually what I used to use before I had a stream deck, I could switch the scenes and I had it set to my numpad. That's a really good example if you don't want to have an Elgato stream deck, and boom. So these are some settings that a lot of people don't really use, but process priority. I would recommend this at above normal for you guys. Just hit above normal, hit OK. That's going to slightly increase your CPU, but it's all fine. Now, MV12 is what I found has the best colors. And now for color space, I recommend 709. Just hit apply. Now, partial and full. Full can have some issues on an encoder level and cause it to be blurry and almost have the colors not be right. Well, the colors are more natural, I feel like, in this. And they look true to what you're actually viewing at on your monitor. Now, if you want to try, maybe you have a higher end PC, you can try full. But that's not what I recommend. Now, there's network operations and dynamically change bitrate to manage congestion. That's in a beta. If you have maybe bad internet or internet that kind of drops out, or you're having issues maybe with your ping in game, definitely recommend these. I don't use them because I don't have issues, and in my opinion, I don't see a difference. But if you want to keep them, then you can, but I'm not going to. Now, manage browser source hardware acceleration. This is all really personal preference. Well, it's not. But if you don't have a lot of alerts, or you have maybe a high core CPU, just like a 12 core, 10 core, maybe even an 8 core, and they're hyper threaded, which means if you open up this, your logical processors is double what your cores are, you can turn that off. I'm going to keep it on. I recommend, unless you have an 8 cores, 16 logical processors, keep it on. So that is Do you want to restart now? We're going to hit no, because there is something that I recommend. It's called in your video capture. You can hit OK. I currently have nothing plugged in. I will be right back, and I'm going to plug something in so I can actually show you guys something that I think is really important. Alright guys, so I am back. Now, I actually plugged in my keyboard cam, which is a C922. So there's a couple of things I'd recommend, which is custom. Now for resolution, 1080p at max, you can do 30 FPS. I mean, I don't like that personally for this webcam because it's very small. I'm going to run 720, 60. So you can get that nice high quality. Now, MJPEG, you can obviously test these on my C922. I have YUV and another one, I believe it's H.264, which has a lot of input lag. But MJPEG is the best and in my opinion has no issues. So that's what I'm going to recommend. 709 partial. Once again, that kind of makes the colors look a little better. Now, disable buffering. This will just cause you not to have any issues. I don't capture audio, so obviously if you do. Now, this is where I find the issues. Now, gain, you want that at 0. Now, if you're on the US and a couple other countries, you can 60 hertz. If your camera starts to kind of have those black bars going up and down it, then you can switch to 50 hertz and test that. But I'm going to do 60. Now, camera control. These will reset on both of my cameras no matter what, and I have no idea why. So focus and low light compensation. Hit OK. And now literally just move your mouse around. Now, for example, for me, it's going to be about right here, super small. Then I just I'm going to add a display capture, just like boom. Make sure that you move it down, and boom, you see, super high quality. And then you can hit left Alt, and then you can move it to kind of crop it. And now something that I did not do before, which is right click and hide that so you don't have to deal with it. Now, I'm actually going to do something. This is something I highly recommend, and that is you got to test in your game. So we're going to open up crunker.io because I play this game just because it's really easy to launch. So it's actually going to load this time. Sometimes I have issues with this game. Don't know why, but I just do. So we're going to open it up. Now we're going to hit this, and I'm actually going to delete this. Let's see if this will show up as a game capture. Because I do recommend if you are playing a game to use game capture. It is the best. And now make sure that if you're playing Fortnite, you keep the use anti-cheat compatibility hook on. I recommend capture. I do not use capture third party. Now use normal hook rate. And now, let's see, will it load? It will not. So I think it's because it doesn't see it as a game and it sees it as a window. So we're just going to type in, well, actually, we're just going to, you see, capture method. You can try that. Now, Windows graphics capture, I'm on an older version of Windows, but you can obviously try that one and see how you like the picture. So you see, now you can actually do full screen and you can see how it looks. And now, obviously, in my opinion, the most important thing to do is to test how it looks in your game. You can just start a little recording. So start recording. And then you can just see how it feels. And you see, I'm still getting very high FPS, but yet again, this is not a very difficult game. I actually recommend trying it in the hardest game to run, such as Call of Duty. Maybe if you play Fortnite, Battlefield, CSGO, which is going to be very hard because you have to use window capture in either non-trusted mode or full screen borderless. So we're just going to stop that recording right here. And then you can check it just by going to our videos, opening it up as an MP4, which is also the easiest way. You see, sweet, full screen. It still looks very high quality, and you don't have any blur. It almost looks like you could be playing it yourself for your viewers. So that's all for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Make sure that you hit that like button down below. Subscribe if you guys are new. That would be so much. Share this video around. It would be amazing for me, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Probably another OBS video. I actually have one that I'm working on right now for dual PCs and recommended stuff that you guys would maybe want for a dual PC, and even good stuff for single PC streamers. So if you guys have any other video suggestions or videos that you guys want to see, put them down below in the comments. Obviously, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit that like button. I said that already. But anyways, I'll see you guys later. Peace out, guys.